Hey everybody, it's Tara here with Beyond This Reality. And today I am talking about what are you making a problem or a wrongness in your life that is actually, if you change your perspective, a blessing or even an invitation to change or an invitation to what you're asking for. We are generally surrounded by um, lots and lots of people calling out for their solutions for things, right? So when people are advertising or sharing or any of these kind of things, ways to fix our problems, what is actually happening is they are perpetuating the problems, right? Perpetuating the problems. Who are you surrounding yourself with that I can't talk this morning, perpetuates the problems? And here's the thing, you might even be somebody who listens really well to other people, and you might listen to their problems, you might listen to their complaining, you might listen to all those kinds of things. And you might even find that you're not somebody who shares your problems. You're not someone, I'm so sorry, I'm not sure why I can't talk today. You're not even someone who complains very much. But I would like you to find out and observe what is actually happening inside your head and your body. Because when we surround ourselves with an energy, generally it begins to affect us. We may choose not to verbalize it, share it, and everything else. But what is happening inside your head? Are you rattling around and aligning with all that energy? And here's the thing, if you resist that others are complaining, it locks it into place even more, right? So, who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you listening to? Who are you giving the time of day? Are you willing to be fierce about what you're consuming? And I don't just mean in the food arena, but what are you consuming in conversation, on TV, on the radio? If you're constantly listening to other people's bitching, complaining, and all that kind of stuff, it really is going to affect the ways that you think, but also it is an energy that gets locked inside your body. Our body has cells, and it is so true that we have cellular memory. And that doesn't just mean our own experiences. When we're listening to other things, our cells begin to remember the emotional havoc that is created by someone else's experience. It's as though we experience it as well. And then what happens is, because our cells are remembering this and it's an emotional trigger, other things that might just prompted again will show up, and then we'll have that experience. It could just even be the aroma that's happening while somebody's sharing it. You could be in a bakery, and anytime you go into a bakery, all of a sudden you're having this experience where you're being prompted by those emotions again, and your cells are coming out. Well, we can release those, but today it's all about really not that space, but really getting clear about what our environment is and what we're consuming, and then also what we're choosing. And so when we're in that space of having those things come up, we can choose to start listening to other kinds of conversations, and begin to have those kinds of conversations. Begin to surround ourselves with people who are creators, people who own 100% of their life, right? And what I mean by that is, when we get into the blame game, right? When we get into the blame game, we actually create a life that's really lame. Because if we're not taking 100% responsibility for our lives become really lame. Lame as in, like, if you think of someone who cannot move, right? That is what lame is. It's like, it's an inability to move. Do you desire your life to be immobile, non-moving, non-forward going? Or would you like something different? Are you willing to take 100% responsibility no matter what? Because here's the thing. We might be aware that another person is bringing certain things. We have a choice to either be around them or not be around them. We have a choice to give that energy or not give it energy. We have the choice to like ruminate on it or not ruminate on it. There might be people that you live with that are that way. What are your choices within that space? Do you go into internal judgment? Do you resist them? Do you just let it pass through, right? Those are some different things. And then what are you ruminating on? What choices have you made that you are blaming yourself for or shaming yourself? The moment that you do that, notice that you take off any movement in your life. You create a lameness in your life. And you get to put movement back in by taking 100% responsibility rather than blaming any circumstances and asking what could contribute to the life that you truly desire. What movement can you begin to make that will actually start to create momentum in the direction that you desire? And when you're moving in a new direction, it takes a little while for things to get going. And it may feel like achy. It's kind of like going back to exercise after not exercising for a while. It's like you're awakening the sleeping beast. So are you willing to awaken the sleeping beast of movement and momentum in your life and surround yourself by contributory energies? Look at what you're listening to on the radio. Look at what you're listening to on your television. Look at what you're listening to in your friend circle, in your texts, on your Facebook feed. There's so many different ways that we receive, and many of these could be incredibly generative if we allow them, if we really get in and begin to consciously choose. So I wonder how much fun you can have with that. I wonder how many things that you would like to pivot away from and then pivot towards something new. And it's amazingly awesome that many times when we choose this for ourselves, some of the places and things and people that we pivot away from actually become in the new place where we're pivoting towards, because they rise up into themselves too, and they start to choose. They start to choose the things that are a contribution to them. It's not so that they can choose to be with us necessarily. It's just we become an example of different choices that allows them to have different choices for themselves. Not by asking them to change, just by choosing for ourselves. When you choose for yourself and give allowance to others, it allows them to choose for themselves and find what is the greatest contribution to the joy, the abundance, the prosperity, the movement and momentum that they're desiring in their lives. So how much fun can you have with this? Please remember, whenever you go into the blame game, you create a life that's really lame. And I know that's really cheesy, but I really, I believe it. And I've found it to be so true in my own life. So how are you moving away from the blame game and creating movement and momentum in your own life? And what are you surrounding yourself with? Please put it in the comments. I would love to hear. And I would love to hear how you're changing the direction possibly of your own life as you're listening to these videos. And then anything else that you would like to know about, hear about, anything that you're celebrating, anything that you're struggling with, be free to share it. And maybe our next video I'll be able to talk with more clarity, and hopefully you were able to receive all the messages from this one without laughing too much. All right, have a great day. Thanks so much for showing up. Bye.